Hello and welcome to Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I'm Alison Lagrange, live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin with the top headlines. The Axiom 4 mission's Dragon spacecraft carrying Indian Air Force Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla and 3 others successfully docks with the International Space Station a day after they lift off from Florida's Kennedy Space Center. Indian authorities extract data from the black boxes recovered from the Air India plane that crashed on the 12th of June. A breakthrough expected to shed light on cockpit conversations, crew responses and ambient sounds moments before the crash. The United States formally begins requiring visa applicants to disclose all social media usernames from the past 5 years by keeping them public. Any failure to comply could result in visa denial and future ineligibility. South Africa posts its first back-to-back primary budget surplus in 16 years as President Cyril Ramaphosa pushes Africa's most industrialized economy toward greater fiscal discipline. And with over 20,000 new births in April, South Korea says its birth rate surged at its fastest pace in over 3 decades, amid signs of recovery in a country grappling with the world's lowest fertility rate. Hello and welcome. We begin with the latest from India, where the arrival of the monsoon in Himachal, Pradesh has wreaked havoc across the picturesque Himalayan state. Heavy rain, flash floods and cloudbursts have battered India's northern state. At least 2 people are confirmed dead and around 20 are reported missing. Torrential downpours have damaged homes, schools, roads and small bridges. Dramatic videos show the devastation. A car floating down a muddy stream, massive wooden logs surging through swollen rivers, with deforestation in higher reaches drawing increasing concern. The Kulu district, a favorite among tourists, appears the worst hit. Authorities report 3 cloudbursts in the district. Many locals trying to retrieve belongings from flooded homes have been swept away and are deemed missing. The Manali-Chandigarh highway, one of the state's lifelines, suffered partial damage near a stream in Manali. The traffic has since been restored for now. Meanwhile, water levels in the Beas and Sutlej rivers continue to rise in several parts of the state. Small water streams have swelled due to the rainfall, extending the potential of damage in case of more downpour. The Indian Meteorological Department has issued moderate flash flood warnings for 5 districts, including Shimla and Mandi. The National Disaster Response Force is on the ground in multiple locations. Relief and rescue operations are ongoing, but the full extent of damage remains unclear. As the crisis unfolds, more rain is expected. The Weather Department warns of localized landslides, waterlogging in low-lying areas, structural damage, skidding of vehicles from hills, and disruption of essential services like power, water, and communications. As rescue teams race against time, the scale of devastation continues to unfold. With more rain expected, what lies ahead remains uncertain. For now, the state holds its breath, with authorities on alert and citizens bracing for what could come next. Uncertainty looms over Iran as its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, largely remains out of public view for nearly a week. Earlier today, the Iranian state media carried out a statement from the supreme leader, the first since the ceasefire was reached between Iran and Israel following the 12-day war between them. Khamenei's absence from public view is despite the overarching national crisis that has gripped the nation amid the now ceased state of war. In the statement, Khamenei hailed what he called Iran's victory over Israel and said the US gained nothing by attacking Iran, and that Tehran's retaliation had slapped Washington hard. In and beyond Tehran's corridors of power, a question on top of everyone's minds remains, where is Ayatollah Ali Khamenei? Now, earlier this week, when the same question was asked to a key Khamenei aide, instead of clarity, he urged Iranians to pray for the supreme leader. Khamenei's silence comes at a moment of national peril. 3 Iranian nuclear sites were bombed by the US last weekend. Iran then launched retaliatory missile strikes on a US base in Qatar. Earlier this week, a sudden ceasefire with Israel was announced by the US President Trump. Now, all of it came, reportedly, without a single television appearance or signature from the man until today. Now, officials say the supreme leader is sheltering in a bunker with no electronic communications and maximum security protocols. The anxiety stemming out of his absence from public view has now spilled onto the streets, scenes, and into Iran's elite circles. Reports citing regime insiders suggest a silent power shuffle in Tehran. Factions within the government are reported to be jockeying for control. President Masoud Pezeshkian and his allies are said to be pushing for diplomacy, even signaling readiness to negotiate a nuclear deal with the US. President Pezeshkian has gone as far as to claim that the current state of crisis has created a golden opportunity for change to shift Iran's governance style. But not everyone agrees. Hardline conservatives, led by Saeed Jalili, are up in arms, calling the ceasefire illegitimate and opposing any nuclear talks with the West. They have slammed the president and foreign minister as weak, accusing them of betraying the sacrifices of the 1979 revolutionaries. In a fiery response, Pezeshkian office has accused the hardliners of playing into the hands of Iran's enemies. Amid the power plays, Iran's nuclear program remains in the crosshairs. Officials vowed to rebuild what was destroyed and to continue uranium enrichment. But as speculations grow louder, there's one unanswered question shaking Iran's core. Is the supreme leader still running the country, or is the Islamic Republic quietly bracing for change? The clock is ticking, and if Khamenei doesn't come out of hiding by the end of Muharram next month, even his most devoted followers fear the answer may already be written in his absence. Now, Brazil's BRICS summit from the 6th to the 7th of July is going to be overshadowed by the likely absence of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Why? Because of a warrant, an arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court, or the ICC. The ICC wants Putin arrested. The charge, war crimes and the alleged illegal deportation of Ukrainian children during Russia's invasion of the region in 2022. Now, Russia denies these allegations. The Kremlin, which did not sign the ICC's founding treaty, dismissed the warrant as null and void. But Putin still needs to weigh the risk of being arrested if he travels to another country which is a member of the ICC. The warrant was issued in 2024. Since then, Putin has been careful, strategic. He avoids traveling to countries that are members of the ICC, and Brazil is one of them. In fact, this isn't the first time. In 2024, he skipped the G20 summit in Brazil too, sent his foreign minister Sergei Lavrov instead. Same plan for BRICS. Lavrov will go this time too. Putin will join virtually. Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov says that there are, quote-unquote, certain difficulties in the context of the ICC's requirements. Now, ironically, Putin did visit Mongolia last year. It was a high-profile visit, a surprise trip, but what's interesting is that Mongolia is also an ICC member. The The European Union and Ukraine criticized Mongolia for letting him in. Mongolia defied the calls to arrest the Russian president and welcomed him on a red carpet. And critics call it a show of defiance. But it's different with Brazil. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has been walking a tightrope. It appears that Lula is playing both sides. Close ties with Putin, defense deals, nuclear agreements, scientific collaboration. At the same time, public statements condemning Russia's aggression over Ukraine. Now, during his recent visit to Moscow, Lula said that Brazil has supported Ukraine's territorial integrity from the start. He added that he has been standing for peace for 3 years. To make sense, it means diplomatically, Lula could not guarantee Putin's safety, not without risking international backlash, and not without contradicting Brazil's public position. Brazil is a member of the ICC and is therefore obligated to execute the arrest warrant on Putin if he enters the country. So Putin stays home. Now, what does this mean for the BRICS summit? BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, 5 countries often positioned as a counter to the West. Its members pledge to boost trade cooperation, although it's not a trade pact. It has few institutional ties and aims to counterweigh the G7. It is also an alternative to US-led global institutions. But this year, it's different. This year, there are fewer heads of state attending the summit. Only Brazil and India are expected to send their top leaders, Lula da Silva and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa may join too. Others, uncertain. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is reportedly unhappy since he was offered only a partner status and not a full membership. And Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum won't attend the summit personally either. Now there's more to it. Media reports state that China's President Xi Jinping may also skip the BRICS summit. If confirmed, this will be his first ever absence from the summit in 12 years. His absence will represent an even bigger diplomatic challenge for Lula, who has made efforts to secure the Chinese leader's presence. So here we are, a global summit with lots of empty seats. The world watches as the leaders calculate, and Putin playing it safe for now. And for our last story, let's shift our focus to Southeast Asia, where the Thai government has made a significant U-turn on its cannabis policy. Just 3 years after becoming the first country in Asia to decriminalize cannabis, Thailand is now tightening its grip on the sales of the plant. The country's health minister signed an order earlier this week banning shops from selling cannabis to customers without a prescription. The order also seeks to reclassify cannabis buds as a controlled herb. Though the order's effective date is not known as of now, the intent behind this policy reversal is clear. It is to counter under-regulation that has made the drug too accessible, particularly to children, and has led to a spike in addiction. Now, this move comes as officials last month revealed a significant surge in cannabis smuggling cases involving tourists. A study by the Narcotics Control Board last year also indicated a sharp rise in cannabis addiction since its decriminalization. But why has the government suddenly intensified its crackdown on cannabis consumption? Now, the answer lies in the political unrest currently gripping the country. This move comes as the Thai government, led by Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatра's pro-Thai party, is hanging by a thread after losing its main coalition partner, the Bumjai Thai. Though conservative, the Bumjai Thai party has long supported more liberal laws on cannabis. The party quit the coalition this month in a row over a leaked phone call between Prime Minister and Cambodian Senate President. Though the move to recriminalize cannabis is not unforeseen or surprising, it is clearly being met with a lot of protests and criticism. A group of cannabis addiction of cannabis in 2022, tens of thousands of shops and businesses have sprung up across Thailand, with many of them being located in the country's tourism hubs. The recriminalization push has stunned the shop owners and tourists alike. Listen in.
I feel a bit shocked because this is my main source of income. It's affecting me a little. Actually, not just a little, it's really hitting me. And it will probably affect many shops. Many shops are probably just as shocked because a lot of them invested heavily.
I don't know how they can reverse this now. It's absolutely insane. There's shops everywhere, so how do they reverse this? I don't think they can. Now that they've opened it to be completely free like this, I think they're going to struggle to reverse this availability that's here.
The impact of this legislation on the cannabis shop owners is not clear, and the people who are now growing worried about what they will do next.
What do they do next? Right now, it's like they're swinging in the air. It's like, is what we're doing now legal? How long can we're doing continue this? And the regulations that should come out, they should make sense for all parties. If the law comes out and it impacts people in the industry, there must be a way to provide remedies.
The Thai government is walking a political tightrope. Now it remains to be seen how will the country strike a balance between controlling unbridled cannabis consumption and securing the future of those whose livelihoods heavily depend on the sales of this controversial plant. And that's all we have on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.